So last time we actually built a non-functional Citrix license server. Let me just quickly show you what I mean. Logging on to the SQL server. This is where we also installed the Citrix license server. Oh, yeah. There we are. Administrator password. And if I then open up the Citrix license server console, you will see a message that states no such product or vendor exists Citrix. And if we dive a little bit deeper into the administration panel, let's log on as administrator, password again, submit. And if we then scroll down a little bit to the vendor daemon configuration, you can see that the Citrix daemon has stopped. And if we click administer, then you will see that there's no license file or directory specified. And this problem is actually caused by the unattended installer of the Citrix license server. So if you do a manual install, then everything just works fine. If you do an unattended install, then for some reason the license file or directory location is not configured properly. And we're going to use Automation Machine to fix this problem. So instead of doing manual configuration, we're just going to add this fix to Automation Machine and make sure it's applied every time we deploy our license server or servers. So let's dive into Automation Machine. I already created a script, and this script will actually fix that problem. And I have already uploaded a fixed version of our Citrix licensing server package. So if you want to have this script, it's already available in there. But I'm going to take you through the steps of actually dynamically fixing these types of problems and making sure that they are applied properly the next time you deploy such a machine. So let's create a new action item within system configuration. This is something that is run after deployment. Fix configuration bug. And I'm going to import the script that I just created, and this script is going to update my server.xml file. Set license file location, and then we just browse to the script that's on my desktop. There we go. And after we change the configuration of that configuration file, the XML file, we need to stop and start the Citrix license server service. So I forgot the name, so let's just check that out on the license server itself. Services. There we go. And where is it? There you are. Properties. Let's just copy and paste. I don't like typing. I make too many typos. Oh. Back to the console and paste it in. And we're going to wait for the service to stop, because right after the service stopped, we need to start it again in order for the license server to reread its configuration file. And there we are. So now we defined our fix, we need to enable it, and we do that by enabling the system configuration actions for this package. And actually it was already set to false, but we also only want to have this run at boot time. So now we are going back to our dashboard, selecting the target machine, and basically forcing the startup process to run. And during startup, normally all kinds of configurations are being applied, including the one that we just created. So instead of rebooting the machine or waiting for maintenance, we're just going to force it to run from the dashboard. And this is the actual output that you would see if you would run this using PowerShell as well. So there's your logging. Okay, we're ready. And then let's check out the result. Back to the license server. And then opening. So we didn't reboot this machine. We just kicked off the configuration. And there you are. It's working. Let's check the administration panel. So next time we deploy a license server using this package, then the fix will already be included in the package and you don't have to think about it anymore. Yeah, up and running, and the license location is correctly configured. So let's start building our desktop delivery controller. License server is working now, and we'll, just like last time, we'll need to download a few packages from the website. So starting, I already searched for XenDesktop, so let's save the desktop studio. Then we need the desktop director and the desktop delivery controller. There we are, and save. Close. Yep. And then we're going to import those packages into automation machine. Desktop delivery controller first, and then we're going to import desktop director. Yeah, there we are. And lastly, the desktop studio. There we are. So we still need to assign the media to the packages that we just imported. So let's select them one by one, assign media, and select the Citrix XenDesktop Enterprise Revision 1. They're all using the same media. So Revision 1, okay. And Revision 1, okay. Now we can check the paths, relative, so it should work. Yep. And the last one should be relative as well. Yeah, it is. Okay, and then let's create our desktop delivery controller layer. DDC layer, add. And we're just going to add the packages that we just imported to this layer. 1, 2, 3. Yeah, there we are. Make sure that they're in the right order. Yeah, it's correct. Desktop delivery controller, director, and then the studio. And then lastly, we're going to create the collection. Let's just make it a generic server. Let's call it DDC. And add. Yeah, add. There we are. So let's configure our new collection. So first we're adding the layers. There's the DDC layer. Let's add it. And then we're gonna add, save. Then we're gonna add our computer. Demo DDC 001. Yep, there we are. Add it to the collection, and then we need to set up our plugins. So we're going to enable deployment, we're going to enable system configuration, and we need to make sure that our OU configuration is set up properly, AM. And lastly, we're going to enable the security plugin as well, and make sure that the OU path is correct in here as well. Now, and instead of changing the package parameters themselves, we're gonna change the XenDesktop delivery controller package settings here on a collection level. So that means that you can build multiple collections using the exact same package, but each time use slightly different parameters. So in this case, the database credentials to connect to the SQL server. We're just going to use our service account for that. And let's specify the SQL server, demo SQL 001. I'm going to copy that and need it later on again. And let's call our site database .xd site, and then .xd log, and the last one .xd mon. And we also need to specify a site name. Let's just call it tutorial. And we're going to need a license server address, and we didn't change any of the parameters of the license server, so that's fine. So before we start deploying our delivery controller, let's have a look at the SQL Server Management Console. What you will find is that there are currently no databases. Username, password. So at this point there are no databases configured yet. There's no databases created. So now we are going back to the dashboard and select the machine. And last time I initialized the SQL server and license server from the dashboard using the initialize am command. But this time I'm going to show you a slightly different way of initializing your computers using the command line. And this is actually, let me just open PowerShell. This is actually also a way how you can integrate Automation Machine with your existing operating system deployments like MDT or maybe your hypervisor software. Let's set execution policy. Yeah. Remember the command that we need to execute before we can run. We need to enable CRED SSP. So let's go to the support side. I always forget these commands. That's why we have a support side. So, and it's not even that complicated. Just copy back to our target machine. And paste. So now PowerShell is set up. We're going to run a single command. It's located on the demo DC am $, and then the ID of the environment. So the environment ID starts with 808 and then a long GUID. And you can find those numbers if you just launch the Automation Machine Environment Manager. You will find the ID of each individual environment. There's only one here, so the 808 is the correct one. And from that folder we're going to run a single script. And this script can also be executed from your mini setup, from MDT, from SCCM. Any operating system deployment solution can run this script and integrate with Automation Machine. So this is actually Automation Machine installing the PowerShell module, creating a small cache on the target machine, and then initiating basically a reboot to start the whole deployment process. So let's go back to our dashboard to see what's happening on the DDC. There's no status yet. There we are. And I time-lapsed this part, otherwise it would take too long. But you will now see all the packages being installed one by one. Installed, configured, secured. And there we go. So let's review what just happened. Let's first start Active Directory users and computers to see what happened in Active Directory. So there's a new OU containing the DDC, and there's a new group called Citrix Administrators. And let's look at the database. Let's refresh, and you will find 3 new databases automatically created by Automation Machine. And let's log on to the DDC itself. Not AM service, but administrator. Yeah. And let's launch the Citrix Studio. There we are. I am missing. Oh, I don't have permissions yet. I'm a domain admin, but I'm not a Citrix admin. So I need to sign out here. Go back to my DC. Oh, go back to my DC and make myself a member of the Citrix administrators. So let's just add the administrator account. Check names. Yeah, there we are. Okay. Okay. And then we'll log back onto the DDC and see if we have access now. With the administrator account. Yep. Launch the Citrix Studio. And as you can see, the site name tutorial, that's what we specified in the automation machine user interface. You can also see a site configuration. There's some logging. You know, the Citrix service account creating new administrators. There we are, the tutorial Citrix administrators. There's a test site button. Let's see if it all works. So these tests will normally run for a few minutes. I time-lapsed it so to make it go a little bit faster. So yeah, we fixed our license server and we've built our DDC. And I hope you join me next time when we start building our XenApp workers.